Hello, all you out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from PORKYS Corner, the biggest gob in sport. Today we're joined by Yaz. How you doing, Yaz?
It's actually jazz. You pronounce it like the music, but it's just one Z.
Oh, it's
I won't be bothered, but it's actually my real name. People think I've made it up. People think it's a nickname, but I was actually christened, baptized Jazz, Jaz. Crazy, right?
okay. Right, then we'll get stuck in. You're down in the big smoke, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. I've come to see some family and friends. So we're in Canary Wharf right now. I've found a little spot with Wi-Fi.
What's that like? All right.
Yeah, yeah. It's not too bad. Not too bad.
Okay. Eddie exploded in his interview on IFL, like I said he would, going on about drug cheese. Is that hypocrisy?
Oh, massive. Eddie, I can sell snow to Eskimos' hills. Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of him, and it's just, it just reminds me of a car salesman. He'll just say whatever he needs to say to get the deal done. These people who sell loans for like 40% APR to, business owners that are struggling, and
Yeah.
he'll say whatever he needs to say to get the deal done. So yeah, you got to take it with a pinch of salt, haven't you?
Yeah.
You got to laugh at it. Really, it's massive hypocrisy, and but he don't care, does he? He don't
No, this
care.
is it, you see, right? It's like he's laughing, in it, all the time because my argument with that is look, he's always going to have to work with people that have failed dope tests. We know that. He's worked with about 15 people that have tested dirty over years. He's tried to sign fighters like Tyson Fury that have failed dope tests. He's signed Canelo. I mean, the list is endless. My argument with it is this: nobody seems to be pulling him up on the fact that Crusher Ben failed a dope test, and him and Calla Sowland buried it and let everybody buy tickets for the show and book hotels, boats, planes to get into England. Because we're only a little island, aren't we? Seems to have forgotten about that. The board did nothing. They took no action against this guy. If that would have been a small old promoter, he'd have had a lot of problems on with board. I swear to God, I've seen a lot less people have the license suspended. I mean, Dennis got his license suspended because he told me to get in touch with Gavin McDonnell. But the reason he told me to do that is because Gavin was trying to get a fight with Josh Whale, a trilogy, and I never had a board license. So that Dennis knew they couldn't do nothing, but they suspended him. And then Dennis got his lawyers on job. Dennis didn't even turn up for meeting. But the point I want to make is if they can suspend Dennis for something I've done, and I'm not a license holder. Why have they're not taking action on these? I mean, Chris Smedley got an £100 fine for having an affiliation with somebody that did white collar. I know John Ingle reported him, but it's crazy. It's like Steffi reported me, and they just act like that. But these were burying dope tests. And look at Calla with his brother and all that being associated with white collar. Nothing ever happens to big lads, does it?
What do you think about all this? Because there's part of me, I was thinking about it. I think about it quite a bit about you hear about all this therapeutic exemption use, right? So yeah, when Joshua went and put 40 pounds of muscle on after Olympics, and then you go back to Amir Khan versus Lamont Peterson, and then Lamont Peterson said, "Well, I'm low testosterone. That's why I failed it." And he were using those things where you rub it on yourself and therapeutic exemption. And so all you need to do, you can manipulate those tests. You get the right doctor, you get the right timing. You go get your test. You go, "Oh, I'm low on testosterone. I need these testosterone replacements." And then you've got your cycles. It's for when you want to take your when you want to go and take your performance enhancing drugs. Why don't they just make it all legal? That way we know what we're doing. This narrative of someone's gonna get hurt, someone's gonna get put on the slab, and then they're gonna be taking something. Well, why do we have to wait till that happens? Why
Yeah.
don't we just make it? Why don't everybody? If it's legal and everybody can take it, then it makes it safer. Because you're going to get that honest lad who's not taking it, which we've seen, and then you're going to get someone who's absolutely pumped up to the gills on it, and it's going to end up how it's going to end up.
Like Gal Yafai.
Well, that's what's just happened, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Luckily, he's okay. He just took a 12 round beating.
Yeah. Do you know, they're going back to the Joshua thing, Yaz? Uh,
Yeah.
you've seen the before and after pictures, haven't you? The Olympic one, and then you've seen when he first turned pro, because he went missing, didn't he, for about a year, didn't he, Joshua, after he turned pro, didn't he? Now, after Olympics, and he came back like Hercules, didn't he? But point I want to make is this: I've spoke to people in that industry, and you know, people who take the training serious. I've got a mate called Bunny. He works strength and conditioner. I got him a job with Huey Fury for 2 camps. Ian Harrison, a bodybuilder who lives in Bradenton in Florida, but he's from West Yorkshire, Ian, and they say it's impossible to do what Joshua did in that short period of time for his body fat to be down and the size he got to. And nobody seems to mention that, do they? No, nobody's saying a word. And that's how he
Do you think
became
that's
marketable, isn't it? He became marketable, didn't he? Gold medal and then the physique, and everybody bought into it that he was this roadman killer when really he had a beard problem, didn't he?
yeah? Do you think that's why he don't like doing his road work? Because apparently that's
Can't do
why.
it, can he? I've heard back anyway of plenty of people. He can't do road work. McCracken don't go out with them anyway and do it. It's not like Joe G or Brian Hughes or Mick Whale following him in a car and then waiting every while and then they run by and you go wait for him again. Is it? McCracken's, but he believes you should turn up in shape, which you can
Yeah.
understand that, can't you? But
Well, it's not easy to run when you're carrying weight. I mean, I know even if I'm carrying a bit of weight, if I've been on sauce a bit or whatever, you know what I mean? If you've had too much, if you're carrying weight, it is tough to run. So can you imagine being Joshua? You've put on 40 pounds of muscle, that
yeah,
on your skeleton, and you're trying to run.
3 stone. Come on.
Yeah.
He
I
did
mean, he
11
were,
months. Come on. They pissed up my leg. It's wet through here. And then I'm listening to Eddie Hills explaining that I was a serious trainer. Eddie stood at top at Penthouse with his little tiny cock, and he's like pissing on us, and I'm trying to find his dick. Do you know what I mean? He's supposed to have a right small one, isn't he?
oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Like, yeah, so.
Maybe Johnny Nelson can lend him an inch or two.
Old horse cock. I've heard his days might be numbered at Sky. They're looking to have a big shake up. Is that why you think he
Yeah.
might be sucking up to Brick Top of late? Saying, oh, Daniel Dubois will beat Usyk finished and all that. He seems to be waxing lyrical about Brick Top lately, doesn't he? Horse cock.
Yeah, and he also found his testicles, didn't he? Because he started telling it how it is a little bit as well as Johnny, which is good. He
Yeah.
stopped doing the narrative stuff and he started putting it on people, which is good. I don't mind Johnny Nelson. I like him.
I
He's got a
don't
good
mind, John.
story.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah, yeah. To lose your first 3 fights and then come back, he's got character, hasn't he? He's got something about him.
He's played the game
Yeah.
for years, and he's played the game at Sky. But you know, all things come to an end. He's had a good run at Sky. If it is over for him, obviously he would overlook for Bean's job, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean? They give. I don't know, but I think he's maybe. I'm not saying he's outstayed his welcome there, but I think it maybe might be time for a shake up at Sky. Let's see some new faces because it's the same old, isn't it? They got rid of Glenn McCrory, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Is everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you all right. It does cut out every second, but hopefully the
All them
recording's
buildings
okay.
in here, isn't it? Canary Wharf, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
A bit like New York round there, isn't it? Not that I've been to New York. Okay. Eddie then went on to say it's in his. Eddie then went on to say, yeah, but it's in his system. But he boxed and he got caught Rodriguez. I think he was more or less trying to say what he was trying to paper over the cracks and do a PR job that Crusher Ben never boxed though when it was in his system, and he was caught in camp. Everything because Eddie has to be very careful how he's wording this. And looking at the interview, it's all designed about what he said around Ben, in it. Did you see it?
Yeah. It's cringe. It's cringe. That's what I thought. I thought this is cringe. This when he was saying, "Well, actually, on the night it was the test afterwards, and there's nothing we can do about it." Blah blah blah. Yeah, it was cringe watching that interview.
Well, they're moving to get it as a no contest, but whatever happened to innocent till proven guilty? I mean, shouldn't this kid be given the opportunity to prove his innocence, like Crusher was.
Yeah,
And has
exactly.
Crusher proved his innocence, Yaz?
Yeah, exactly. But this Rodriguez, he's not the cash cow that Crusher is he? He's not the cash cow.
Well,
And that's the name of the
a cash cow. Well, he is, I suppose, because he's a Ben, but he doesn't warrant that kind of dough that they're giving him, does he?
No, but that's another thing that bothered me a bit. You know, when Nigel Benn used to be giving Chris Eubanks Sr. all that abuse about leave your son alone, let him run his own career, stay away from him. Yeah. Now, Nigel Benn, he's always involved, isn't he? He's always with his son. He's always getting involved.
Do you know why? Because he's peppermint. That's it.
Why is he peppermint? What's he been doing?
Well, I mean, Nigel Benn retired in '96, so he's 30 years without a wage, isn't he? And he had a big tax bill then. So you're 30 years without a wage. He's been preaching in some church and dropping prices down on an evening with Nigel Benn. And even having to get Joe Egan to put him about. I need big Joe Egan, big fighting man that don't fight. You know, trying to get any evenings with, and he did something with Dennis or something a bit back. Look, when you haven't worked for 30 years, it's a long time, isn't it? You know, so just trying to ponce a living off the sons. So that's up to them what they do with that. But leave your son alone. You mind all that? Yeah, we put him on a plane back to UK, blah, blah, blah. And he had to grow up and be a man. Well, stay in Australia then. That's what I say. Well, just come over for a fight. He was coming over doing training camps and then making comebacks against Saki and Beaker a couple of years ago, wasn't he? They can't leave it alone. Which brings me to Ricky Fatton. Obviously, Hands of Foam, the son Campbell, he's finished now, isn't he? Now, he wanted to be a boxer all his life and loves the sport. Soon as Eddie Hills cut him loose, why are we not seeing the Campbell Hatton comeback on small old shows so he can build back up? And why is his dad not putting shows on with the Campbell on, Hands of Foam? Because they want that free gratis. They want everybody else to do it for them. And I think I don't think he really wanted to be a boxer, Hands of Foam. I think it was about his dad trying to get out there. And now that that's over, his dad needs that limelight, doesn't he? He needs that fix. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a funny one. I remember when I told you the other day, I used to work with Tony Jeffries over in Los Angeles. Yeah, and I worked with Shane Mosley's son, Shane Mosley Jr., and he worked as a personal trainer. Just what Hatton's son's doing now. He's gone into personal training, and he's gone into the same thing, boxing and personal training. It's tough that having your dad as that superstar and then trying to find your own identity. It's a tough one. So yeah, it's the big shoes to fill. When's it enough though? You know, this money thing. Is it the money? Like, when's it enough? Because you see, like, Hatton's coming back now.
It's money and ego, isn't it, with these sort of people? It's money. You don't see Calzaghe or Nathan Cleverly hanging out the back of people, do you?
No, I think it comes down to your character. It's the same. I've just been watching Frotcha Nusic's video this morning. I was watching that, and he was asking him what his favourite karaoke song was. What's your favourite karaoke song?
He needs PORKYS to do his scripts, doesn't he?
Wow. What's your favourite karaoke song? Oh my God.
Typing that out. What is all that about?
Oh my word.
Starstruck, didn't he? Look starstruck, didn't he, Frotch?
Yeah, he pedestalizes people, doesn't he, unfortunately? Well, I don't know. It's a funny one with him because I really like Carl Frotch and I think he's actually a good bloke as well, but he don't have to put his foot in it. He don't have to make he needs what is it? One of those PR people maybe telling him how to.
Too many blows to head, Jazz, I'm afraid, with a Cobra. DAZN pundits. Should the people like Carl Frampton be allowed to be a pundit on Jamie Moore fighters?
Yeah, the worst one.
Will you be allowed a pundit on Bombay Dave fighters?
No. The worst one you said the other day for me as well. It's cringe. Darren Barker. That's the retirement plan, innit? Darren Barker. I loved it when he won that world title against. Who was that? Daniel. Yeah. And he got up, body shot, and he did. And I was rooting for him. I watched that. But as a pundit, come on, there's better. He's got that gig because of who he knows, hasn't he? So it's cringe. It's cringe.
Did you watch the sit down with Sonny Edwards and Puppy Parsons and Eddie's new launch for Matchroom, Leo Atang and all that? I mean, Leo Atang, this is how I look at it for him. Why are they saying he's going to be the new Anthony Joshua? What about being the new Leo Atang?
Yeah. Well, they've got to find somebody, haven't they? That's the problem. They've got to find somebody, especially with what's going on with Joshua, because he's got monsters in his head. I mean, by the way, I was going to ask you, Ross, do we ever know what happened in that changing room before Ruiz fight? You know, they were saying there were all sorts going on.
They've all kept it under wraps, haven't they? I personally think that he was shitting his pants. That's what I think.
He had a panic attack or something, maybe.
Well, if he had a panic attack, why did they let him fight?
Yeah, so that's
insured all the way up to fighters are insured for any injury, even mental health breakdowns and that panic attacks. So they're insured until they step in the ring. I know the money exchanges hands after the weigh-in, but they're insured up to getting in that ring because if they could trip on apron and stuff like that. Now, if he's had a panic attack in the dressing room, why didn't they pull out? Because he were getting 32 million money and Eddie were getting 6.4 million out of the job. So he's obviously been talked round, but the word doing the rounds is he didn't fancy it. They were took to that ring, kicking and screaming. But once he dropped Ruiz, he should have been all over him, shouldn't he? But he got caught, and then they looked to blame it. But if Ruiz had been stopped when Joshua dropped him, no, it would have been said. So I always think that fighters, when they get beat, are looking for an excuse. A bit like Frotch with Ash Cloud, blame Mick Hennessy and got rid of him, didn't he, after that? Do you know what I mean? There's always an excuse when everybody gets beat, isn't there? So I don't know. I don't really know what to make of that. But personally, I've heard his arsehole fell out.
Yeah. Well, he quit. He quit in that fight. He went missing, didn't he? It was a weird one. He went missing, and his head wasn't right because he just kind of started walking back to the corner. He didn't want to come out. He wasn't listening to the referee. I mean, yeah, it was a weird one. With everything, with all his experience, doing Olympics, fighting on the big stage, Klitschko coming back. It was weird that, as you put it, his arsehole fell out. After all that, after everything he went through, that became too much. It's just a funny one. I just don't, yeah. But coming back to your point, they need someone new now, don't they? Eddie needs someone new. He ain't got that big heavyweight. I mean, so that's kind of where that narrative's going.
Do you think they'll rush that Leo Atang because he's only 18-year-old? They're going to try and build him up at the side of Moses Atoma, aren't they? They're going to try and Eddie will get 5 fights in, and we're saying it's Atoma we want, but you know, in 18 months, 2 years, they're going to be saying we're going to fast track him and all that. But look, if he's 18-year-old, they could take the time with him for 6 or 7 years, couldn't they? Really?
Well, they should at 18. He's a kid still. He's a kid.
Yeah. So I don't know. As Eddie's stable. I mean, I looked at that interview that him and Bricktop did on Talksport, and it was painful to watch that, you know, because Eddie's gone from saying, no, it weren't a low blow, same as Bellew, to now saying, well, we're borderline and, you know, and agreeing with Bricktop. And we both want to be number one. Look, Bricktop's number one now, the number one UK promoter. I'm not saying he isn't world. He's the number one promoter. He might even be in world, actually, because heavyweight roster he's got. But he's definitely number one in Europe. And Eddie isn't. Eddie's playing second fiddle, but Eddie was trying to put his Senate mix with Bricktop. And I think he's way off. Way off. He's just been licked 5-0 in that Matchroom versus Queensway thing, hasn't he? And look, Eddie's lucky to be dining at the table with them lot now. And I think you're seeing them coming to an end now. They mind all this relaunching and sat in Shackleton high seat chairs, Puppy Parsons and Sonny Edwards. They're not frontmen presenters. Sonny Edwards is a good pundit and a good commentator, but he's not a presenter. Puppy Parsons is just going to do as he's told. He's a gullible young Cub Scout, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? But I think Eddie's stable's depleted, in my opinion. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's depleted. I mean, he's got that Leo Atang, but that one fight, but we can't really judge him yet, can we?
No, it's funny as well. After I saw when he got smashed 5-0, he were on that plane home with Frank, and Frank even went high five, and they did the little high five thing. And I thought he likes being the whipping boy. Maybe he's. I don't get it because if it were other way around, do you think Frank Warren would be giving him a high five if
Well, I
he got
don't know,
spanked
you see,
five
because
nil?
Frank Warren came out in front of Wales boxing media holding hands with Turkey Al Sheikh, didn't he? And Eddie didn't hold his hand. So, look, pair of them are brassers either way. Let's have it right. They're both prostitutes. You mind Eddie saying, oh, me and George are very close friends and all that. Listen, that lot have been trying to outdo each other for the best part of 35, 40 years, right? Telling tales to all sorts of authority, border control, taxman, vatman, bailiffs, high court collection agencies, legal letters, the lot. They've been going at it years. Eddie Hills had his knee on Bricktop's neck for 10, 12 years. And he wasn't going to get, and he said, I'm not getting him a leg up. When it come down to it and he were on the outside looking in, he had no choice but to take his knee off Bricktop's neck and go cap in hand. That's what's happened there. It's plain as day to see what's gone on. And basically, Eddie's just gone, okay, Frank, and he's took it in mouth. That's what's happened for money, for pound notes, and gone, well, I'll work with anybody. Or I do my best for my fighters. No, you're doing the best for you, Eddie Hills. That's what's gone on, in my opinion.
He knows how to play the game, does Eddie, doesn't he?
Well, they've been playing it long enough, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? Listen, if it's raining outside and Turkey says, oh, it's red hot outside, it's sunny, they'll go, yeah, it is. That's the name of the game. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're not all like Joe Gallagher who stand up to him.
Right, right.
Well, we all know that Eddie tried to deplete his. Well, he did, didn't he? Told all his fighters, look, you're not going to get any slots if you're working with Joe G. So Smith's all bailed out, didn't they, and a few others. But Joe G stood firm, didn't he? So I looked at it.
Yeah, he don't sometimes. But thing I like about Eddie, I'll give him some props. He don't let his ego get in the way. Do you remember? I was thinking back today about when Derry Matthews fought Tommy Coyle. Do you remember?
I was there, mate. You know.
Yeah, great knockout off the ropes.
You know when that? You know when because Tommy Coyle were beating him up, weren't he? Basically, we're bashing.
Yeah, he was going to take the fight.
When Derry Matthews pulled that punch out, you could hear a pin drop for about 3 seconds. Everybody just went. It was like when Frotch got dropped against Groves. Now ringside then. It was one of them moments that it'll stay with me, but it was a chilling punch, that. And
yeah. He always had that in locker, did Derry, didn't he?
Yeah, go on, you were saying.
But I remember Eddie were great with Tommy Coyle, and he used to get, they used to do the market store with his dad and all that. But I always remember this one video where Tommy Coyle, do you remember where they caught it on camera? Tommy Coyle went up behind Eddie, pulled his pants down. I couldn't believe he did that. And I thought Eddie took it well. Because if someone did that to me...
What could he do when he's being filmed?
True, but even afterwards, he still got in big fights. He still looked after him. And I thought, yeah, he does. He looks at the bigger picture.
Listen, Jazz, do you know Eddie?
Yeah.
He loved it, really. We'll leave it at that, shall we? Eubanks got a 10 grand fine front board for putting a tweet out showing how he makes weight in fight week. Will the board use that £10,000 to get Gary Sykes' belt sorted that they owe him? Because Carl Johansson was a defence. They're saying it weren't, and he won the belt outright. Now that's what it is. The belt is 10 grand. As you know, each individual belt is hand painted, isn't it, on the Lonsdale part. So every belt's actually different, isn't it? They're not replicas. Obviously, the belt's all the same, but the actual painting in the middle. Do you think the board will do that, or do you think they'll put it in the coffers and use it for expenses?
Well, we're just talking about ego there. I think, unfortunately, they're never going to, that Gary Sykes thing, that's their ego now. They're not going to back down from it, are they? That outside looking,
it's an admin error, isn't it? That's what's happened.
Right, is that what it is? Outside looking in, that tells me they're going to just, they're not going to budge on that one. But can you get a petition, or can we? Is there a petition going? Is there signatures? Can you get?
You have to get in touch with Julian McGowan. I've done my best. I forked out for a billboard in Dewsbury, so without a license, risking my neck. So it is what it is. But I hope Gary Sykes gets his belt and gets his belt back. Basically, that's what I think is the right thing to do for Roberto Smith. So Robert Smith, do the right thing. You're handing fines out left, right, and centre, and you're creaming hundreds of thousands off these Crusher Ben shows with Eubank, as he got another one. So do the right thing and give Gary Sykes his belt.
You know that fine, Russ?
Hang on a second. I've got a better idea. Why don't Crawford Ashley sell his belt to Gary Sykes, and we'll all have a whip round, because Crawford wants to sell his belt, and Robert Smith can sign off on it. Yeah, we're going to say that belt's an outright belt for Gary Sykes, and we'll sort the belt out. All he needs to do is sign off on it for history books, and I think Julian would be happy with that. Gary Sykes, I know I certainly will, because I've met Gary Sykes. He's a nice. In fact, I've met Gary Sykes a couple of times. I met him in a club in Leeds. Remember Club Barcelona back in the day? And you're a lot younger, aren't you? I met Gary Sykes there, and he had loads of birds around him, everybody patting him on back and that. And obviously I met him at Julian's, but he's a nice kid, Gary Sykes. So I want him to get his belt. I think it's the right thing to do.
You know that fine for Chris Eubank Jr., do you think that's just mind games? Do you think there's any skullduggery going on there? You know, now that the Ben fight's been made again, do you think Eddie's just poking him? Because that must have killed Eddie that Eubank came through that. Because I remember I watched that fight a few times, and in that first round, Ben lands a punch, and you see Eddie from side at ring. He gives someone a nod and a wink. Gives somebody a nod, and he gives him a wink as if to say, yeah, we've got him here. We've got him. It must have killed him that Eubank, even with all the stipulations they put on him and the weight and all that, and he still came through and won. The odds on him winning that fight, astronomical with that weight draining and all that. They did not expect him to have that kind of heart. I think they're up
Crusher's
to no good
not
again.
that good though, is he? Let's have it right. He's very raw, isn't he? Very basic.
He is, but again, he's got heart. He'll keep throwing. I mean, you saw that. Who was that lad that dropped him twice in his first few fights? Yeah, and he got up and he won it outright. He dropped him 3 times, and I thought, well, he's got character, that lad. He's definitely got character. And he was still throwing against Eubank. Which it was a great fight. But I don't think Eubank Jr. were meant to win that fight at all. But they couldn't take it off him. Okay. They couldn't take it away from him.
Dubois and Usyk. It's a week away. I've just heard Bricktop say Daniel Dubois in the form of his life. And so let's have a look at the form of his life. For Usyk, I never gave him a round. And then we've got, and he quit for the second time in his career. Then he's beat Miller, 23 stone. Miller won't even get to spar Usyk. So forget Miller. Ergovic, Usyk sparred him hundreds of rounds, turning him on his head. And then we've got a shot Joshua. It's hardly the run of form that they're suggesting, is it? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. If I make a case for Daniel Dubois, though, what I would say is...
Oh, yeah, I know what you're going to say. The last thing you lose is your power, and he's only going to catch him.
No, that's not what I'm going to say.
He's capable. He's durable. We're describing him like the Rhino here, aren't we?
No, that's not what I'm going to say. I've got a couple of points. But, well, the first one is I think he's a completely different fighter to when he fought Usyk up here.
Show me how. Beating who?
Well, I think
3 wins on trot against C-class.
Yes, true. Well, if you want to say that, I'll go with that. But what I will say is he had moments in those fights where he could have quit again, and he didn't. So he had moments where he had a little wobble against Miller, and you thought, oh, he's gonna quit again. And Hrgovic, and he bit down and he came through him. So I like that. Against Joshua, I think he beat, that were a chip on his shoulder, this guy that's always been, around him and a big deal. So mentally, that was him saying, no, I'm the man, not you, I'm the man. And then the last thing, and I think the important thing is the 12th man. Like in football, you say the 12th man. I think the crowd, I think it being at Wembley, I think it being a pro-Dubois
There's more there for Usyk than him.
Oh, we'll see.
They all want to say they've seen Usyk live, don't they? Come on.
I think you'll be surprised. I think it'll be pro Dubois, and I think as we saw in COVID, fans make a difference. And I think don't be surprised because he's dumb enough to get it done. he's not going to be one of these Joshuas who starts overthinking. I mean, I loved it other day when his phone rang and it were a flip phone. It were a flip phone. He brought it out and it were a flip phone, and they said, "You've got a flip." No, Dubois had a flip phone, and they said, "You've got a flip phone," and he was like, "Yeah, cuts out the BS, doesn't it?" And I was like, "I love this kid. I love this lad. He's got a flip phone. He's not going to overthink it. He's going to walk to that ring. He's going to smash it. I think, especially after just smashing Joshua in his last fight, he's on a massive high. You know, boxing is a lot up here. It is confidence, and he's 27. He's coming into his prime. Usyk's not getting any better, is he?
So strength.
He's getting his man strength.
He's getting it before Huey.
He's getting that Huey Fury man strength.
Huey's not got his yet. We're still waiting.
So I'm just trying to make a case. I want him to win. I hope he wins. I'm just trying to make a case for him. And I think it'd be, I mean, can you imagine if he does? Like Frank Warren said, it's the first time a British fighter, the heavyweights, fought for 4 belts. You know? So, yeah. Why not? Why not? I think he can. I think he can do it. I mean, don't forget, Joshua hurt Usyk. Fury hurt Usyk. He stunned him. So he can be hurt. We've seen that. And like I said, I think, and I mean it in the nicest way, I think, let's say it this way. Daniel Dubois is ignorant enough to get the job done. I think he'll go in there, and I think it's set up for him. He'll never have a better opportunity to do it.
Well, we're going to see, aren't we? Do you feel that if Usyk beats him, that Don Charles will still keep going on about that first fight and how they were robbed of greatness and all that rubbish?
Yeah, that was rubbish. I didn't like it when he brought Usyk's faith into it as well, when he was saying, you know, you're a man of God. You're a man of God. And what he was saying, and you're lying and all this stuff about. No, that were wrong. That.
You know what boxers do? They tell themselves something to give themselves something to hold on to. That's what they do. They tell themselves and they hold on to it, because it's all about mental edges now, and because all the training's done now. It's a week to go. All they'll be doing now is resting up and going for a walking day and that. There's no weight to be made because they're heavyweights, but I think that they're holding on to that. But I think they've held on to it for too long now, haven't they? Really, it's become a crap, boring story, hasn't it? At the end of the day, if John Coffey wins and knocks Usyk out, it's simple why he's done that. He'll have been overloaded his body with cornbread. That's what I think. That's what I think's happened. He'll have had all this spinach, won't he? Let's just hope that there's no dirty tests and the fight don't get pulled or blah. That's all we want now. We just want fair play. We don't want the usual judge slipping in, do we? You know, like one of the judges slipped in. Like one of them Joshua fights were a split decision against Usyk, wasn't it? What was that judge watching? We don't want anything like that, do we? We don't want a draw or anything, do we? Although a lot of smart money is going on the draw, isn't it, at the moment, so they can do a third one, because they're saying Fury's parked up because for his Netflix series. But who cares about Fury now? I don't think anybody's bothered now. I think they've burnt that many bridges. You know?
No, I don't. I want to see if Fury's got to get himself in shape. The shape he came into those fights against Usyk, I weren't happy with that. Why ain't he getting into that shape when he fought Klitschko? Why can't he get into that kind of shape? Why can't, we're not asking him to be body beautiful, but don't come in with tires around your waist.
No.
No. I don't know. So
Walter Fury got beat last night, didn't he? Mikey Talon won, Joe Gallagher's guy. Walter Fury got beat. He got dropped in first against the guy with 5 wins out of 70-odd fights. So do you see him doing out in his career, Walter Fury?
Well, I didn't know that. So I can't really comment on it.
Well, he looks old. He's 28 and a half year old I've ever seen in my life. Looks dug up. They all look old, don't they? It must put years on you, being a traveller. Thomas, the Irish kid, I think he works in the football industry, emailed me. I said, I can't remember if it was with you or Liam, I said, if Usyk beats Dubois, he's a top 5 all-time great heavyweight, but Thomas says if he beats him, he's a top 5 across the board. Do you think that's a strong statement from Thomas? I'm hoping he's going to come on here and debate it, but they all say they're going to do, don't they? When it comes down to it, a lot of them.
I think Usyk's Usyk's one at best to do it, to lace up a pair of boxing gloves. Full stop. I don't see how you can say anything else. Amateurs and pros, he's cleaned up.
Yeah.
He's clean. He's absolutely cleaned up, and he's always been a roadman. He's done it on the road as well. On the road.
On the road.
On the hard road.
Even B-side Bellew's saying he's done it on the road. Bellew seems to wax lyrical about Usyk. It's like he wants to nosh him off. Every time
you know why?
Because he licked him and he's got no comeback off it, has he? He likes to put his head in that mix that I got filled in by that guy, doesn't he? I mean, even Froch, you beat me by a split decision. I'll take that. What sort of fighter takes that? They say, well, I reckon I beat you. You don't say things like that, do you? It's like you're in awe, so I'm a bit disappointed with you, old big conk on that one. Amzad Shiraz against Bellinger tonight. The winner's got Canelo, according to Brick Top. Could you see Shiraz in with Canelo? Or what is it? And then Adi Alapido turned around and said, yeah, that's a good fight, that. And of course, he deserved that fight because he's an ambassador for Riyadh. What is that? Is that how you get fights against Canelo now? You just got to be an ambassador of the sport. Doesn't it go on how fucking good you are? What is all that? Adi Alapido, get their cocks out your mouth. Well, come on. He deserves a fight against Canelo because he's an ambassador for Turkey. Do me a fucking favour. Hey, what is that? What next limo driver going to get a fight against the loser of the fight because he drives Turkey about? Where are they coming from with this? Knackers.
The go along to get along gang.
The go along to get along gang. He nailed that, didn't he? Harlem Eubank.
He absolutely did.
Here's another one if he has. Dennis McCann situation. Brick Top's coming out with all this. Well, they didn't fill forms incorrectly and it should be thrown out on a technicality because aren't they supposed to have put that he was tested on, they got the wrong month. It says urine, but they put the wrong month on the form or something, so they're going to get it thrown out of it. Is that the best that the lawyers can come up with? What about it's in your fucking piss? It's in your urine, explain that. You mind all this smart lawyers looking for fucking loopholes? It's in your urine. You're a doper.
Yeah. Well, they've obviously found a loophole because he's got his. He started talking about it, and he said, we've got something coming for you. And Frank is when it comes to court cases, he don't often lose, does he? So he's getting his lawyers involved.
Don King beat him in a court case. Joe Calzaghe did.
True.
But Don King was smart. He put a charge on everything he had. Calzaghe didn't. So Warren just folded company. It's all online. Go and look. You can't trust these people as far as you could throw them. And if I'm telling lies, sue me and shut me down, Bricktop, because it's all out there. It's all out there. Go and read the judges summing up. There you go. In the case, Sports Network versus Joe Calzaghe in High Court. We'll finish off on these next two topics. Jake Paul in WBA top 10 for cruiserweights. Pop, pop, bang. Oh, they've allowed him into sport, haven't they? What is all that about?
Yeah. Well, WBA won't pay him, don't they? That's they know how much money he's making for Netflix, etc.
There you go. They're the problem, the commissions.
Yeah.
And of course, Jake Paul's a promoter and a fighter. Talk about conflicts of interest, but nobody's saying a word because they want access. And the other one I want to talk about and finish off on, Anthony Yard is fighting and yet another roadman.
Yep. Well, can I just say one thing on Jake Paul before we go on? I just want to say that quickly, I don't mind him.
50 seconds left.
All right. Well done,
Jake Paul.
Do a part
two, yeah?
What time is it now?
We'll do a part two.
Let's do a part. Let's do a bit of a part.
I'll send you a link now. We'll go on to part two.
All right.
Liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. Booyaka. Peace out.